New data reveals some 2020 candidates are more prepared than others when it comes to cybersecurity. According to the firm SiteLock, Elizabeth Warren is the most digitally secure candidate in the field, followed by Cory Booker, Bernie Sanders, and President Trump. CNET senior producer Dan Patterson is here to break this down for us. Dan, thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you.
So this is really a sign of the times. And before we get into the results of this poll, first of all, let's talk about how SiteLock actually determined these rankings. How did they go about doing that?
Yeah, so SiteLock had a number of factors when they evaluated the cybersecurity preparedness of about a dozen of the candidates. And we should say that although SiteLock did most of the research here, we also reached out to a number of other cybersecurity firms. And what they did is follow a fairly standard protocol of looking at, say, the candidate's website's SSL. That's a little lock that you see at the top of a URL to see if they're secure or if they have CAPTCHAs on their site to slow down bots. So this was conducted by one company, but these are cybersecurity basics that we would hope every candidate takes into account through the course of the campaign.
So that being said, what are some of your biggest takeaways from SiteLock's findings?
Fascinating stuff, Elaine. Yeah. So rounding out the top of the list, Elizabeth Warren. So I emailed the Warren campaign months ago, long before she was a front runner, to ask, hey, what are your cybersecurity policies? And they said, our policies are very clear. We will enumerate these soon, and we take cybersecurity very seriously, hard stop, and they clearly do. Booker, though, was kind of a surprise. He is more digitally savvy than he would indicate, and he has taken steps to prepare himself for the future. Again, going back to CAPTCHAs and the SSL certificate, he also takes phishing pretty seriously. Really fascinating stuff. The other thing that was really interesting was the movement of Donald Trump. Look, we looked at the data about a month or so ago, and the president scored the lowest on the list. This was not a partisan assessment, but his site lacked security basics. It was pretty open to bots and trolls and other methods of hacking. And he's moved up considerably in the last month. He's made significant improvements in the last month. Also surprising, at the very bottom of the list, front runner Joe Biden and Andrew Yang, who has had a very digitally first campaign.
Yeah, that is interesting. I would not have necessarily guessed that about Andrew Yang. As you note, this sort of emphasis on digital and connecting with folks out in the technical world. So if you look at that, though, Joe Biden, of course, considered a front runner in this, but with his cybersecurity grade lacking, what is it that his campaign needs to do to actually improve that score?
Well, when I spoke with SiteLock, they said he needs to do a few things. First, he needs to be pretty clear about his cybersecurity policies and how he not just takes cybersecurity seriously for his own campaign, but how he expresses digital privacy policies and what he would do with, we've seen, at least since the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal, digital privacy has become a huge part of everyday life, and the Biden campaign has done very little to express what types of data privacy policies they would adopt. So in addition to his own site, he's not done much externally regarding privacy and security.
We'll see if that changes here perhaps in the weeks to come. Dan Patterson, thank you so much, Dan.
Good to see you.